I just wanted to show you this gorgeous fur. This is one of the things about the Champagne d'Argents that they're known for is their fur. It's got a beautiful slate blue bottom and it is thick, like super, super thick.
Well, today we are going to go through another process of tanning rabbit hides. And we're going to use the egg tanning method. So we actually did this a while back, and since then we've also done alum tanning. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the differences at the end of the video. But we're going to take you through the process of how to egg tan rabbit hides.
You can see on here we have a lot of fleshing that needs to happen first. All this here we want to basically try and get it off the best we can. It's not a super easy process, so we're not going to bore you with all of it.
Actually, that's coming pretty good so far.
Trying. And if you don't get it all off perfectly, it's not the end of the world. It will still be usable for some different things. You got to salt it, and then a lot of it will scrape off after the salting as well. So, but
you still want to get the bulk.
The bulk of it, like this, is way too much to just be left on there.
So we'll come back after it's fleshed out.
So there is our hide all fleshed. There's a few bits that, you know, there's still a little bit on there, but after the salting, when you go to scrape that off, it does kind of scrape off as you go. So the next step now is to salt this. You're going to use non-iodized salt, a coarse salt. Cover it completely with 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. You want to get it as close to the edge as possible. And then it's going to sit for 48 hours, and sometimes this makes a mess. I usually have to sweep after. We usually do this on a cookie sheet, but this bunny was bigger than our cookie sheet, so it didn't work. Nice thing about this is also when you take your salt off, you can save it. You'll see there's little bits of stuff in it. This was used on the last hide that we tanned, so you can reuse it. This is a very important step because this is what's going to prevent bacteria from growing and your hide from deteriorating.
So during the tanning process?
Yeah. So you want to make sure you got it really, really well covered. And then you're going to let this sit approximately 48 hours. You want the rabbit fur to, or hide, to basically be stiff as a board by the end of this. So if it takes longer than 2 days, that's fine. But just make sure that it is completely dried out and stiff.
And if you don't come back to it exactly in 2 days, it's not the end of the world.
You can preserve these for almost indefinitely once they're salted. It does use about a whole box. I believe it's a 2 kg box. I use pickling salt because it's non-iodized, and that looks about good. So we're going to leave that now for our 48 hours, and then we'll come back and show you the rinse off and our egg tanning. We are back with our fur. It actually did take longer than the 48 hours for this one, and I think the main reason for that would be this is a very thick-skinned fur, and it took a little bit longer to dry out, but I'm going to try and do this without losing the salt. You can see when I pick it, it's going to fall. Pick it up. She's pretty much, it's really heavy. Pretty much, see, I can let go and it stays stiff. So it did take a little bit longer than the 48 hours for that to happen on this particular one. First step is just kind of knocking off all of that extra salt that was on there. Now the nice thing about this is you can save this salt, as you saw that we had done at the beginning there, and reuse it. Just store it in a container with a lid on it so that it kind of stays not all one big clump. We're going to just kind of tap it off. As you can see, very stiff. And then there is nothing fancy about this next bit. We're just going to take our, let me just push that out of the way, regular dinner spoon, And anywhere that we see some thick salt still on there, we're just going to scrape it off. Chris fleshed this one very well, so there's very little to try and get off here. I wish, well, I don't wish, but I mean, I don't really have anything to show you with scraping off any of the extra flesh. But if for some reason you had had a little bit left on there, it would be dry now, and you would just scrape and scrape and scrape and get rid of it. So before we go and get this all wet, I just wanted to show you this gorgeous fur. This is one of the things about the Champagne d'Argents that they're known for, is their fur. It's got a beautiful slate blue bottom, and it is thick, like super, super thick. All right, so we've scraped off all of the salt product that we really want to try and retain. So we're going to rinse this first. I use a lukewarm water. I don't think it really matters. I probably wouldn't use hot. Nothing too fancy about it. As I say, you just kind of, I've just got the water sort of running over it at this point. It will go back kind of slimy feeling again. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I wash it just with Dawn dish soap. We use Dawn dish soap for everything around here. I wash the fleece with it. Yeah, pretty much everything. You're going to wash the fur as well. Everything is getting wet at this point. Now, I would say you don't need to soak this right now because it's going to go all stiff again when you egg tan it. So I would probably just, I am going to, it's not a probably. I'm just going to rinse all that soap off now. Same thing with the hair, we're going to rinse it. Now I'm going to let that drain for a little bit, just to get some of that water out. I'm kind of, let me turn it this way. I'm kind of just squishing it down so that it comes out the bottom. There's a little bit of soap still in there, but this is going to get washed again, so I'm not worried. So I'm going to let that dry off just a little bit here. I'll probably just leave it in the sink so it can drain off a bit more, and then we'll come back and we'll egg tan. All right, so we have taken our still sort of damp fur. You can see, I mean, it's not dripping wet, but it's still damp. And I've just put it down on a old tea towel. Now, normally you would only need one egg for a rabbit fur, but we find ours are quite big, so we go with two. You're only going to want the yolks. So I've already separated these yolks from the whites, and just kind of beat them a little bit with the fork, just basically like that. And then I'm just going to kind of drizzle it on, and then I'll work it in with my fingers. You want to basically get it as close to the edge as you can, but try not to get it on the fur if you can help it. We are going to wash this after anyways, so if you do, it's not that big of a deal, but it does work nicer if you don't. So then I just work kind of in a circular motion and work it all out into it. There's some bits here, like the front legs, we're going to cut them off in the end anyways. We probably could have done that beforehand, to be honest, but I'm not so worried about getting all of them covered in this. That's basically it. You can see I've kind of gotten right to the edges as much as I plan to. I'm going to leave it on this damp tea towel, and I've got another wet tea towel. Basically, I've soaked it, then wrung it out, and we're going to put that over top to keep it staying. You don't want it to dry out too much and completely. And then we're going to put that on the rack, leave it sit for 48 hours. We are back with our rabbit tanning. Our egg tan is complete. It's stiff as a board, but it definitely all soaked in quite nicely. So because that's so dry, we're actually going to soak this in lukewarm water for a little bit, soften it up before we rinse it, or before we wash it, I guess, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I've just got my sink kind of full. Unfortunately, my sink's not big enough for this fur in the stiffened state, so hopefully it will soften up rather quickly. Oh yeah, look at it going there. As that fur gets wet, it really soaks into the leather. See if I can get it all in. There we are. So we're gonna let that sit for probably a minute or two, see if that softens up, and then we'll come back and wash it. All right, so this has been soaking for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's a lot more supple. Still got some parts that are firm, but I think that's just, it will come with the hair being saturated with moisture, it will keep the leather or hide soft. So we're gonna go ahead and rinse this off. Or wash it off, I mean. I just use Dawn dish soap, a little squirt on there. This is where the double sink is nice. But basically, you kind of want to just give it a good scrub down, get as much of that egg off as you can. I got a little heavy with it in some spots, so there it kind of chips off. At this point, I also will usually soap the fur just to give it a final wash. One thing I learned, don't go too heavy because it gets really soapy. I'm not sure if that's just rabbit fur or if all fur is like that, but it does get very soapy. You want to be very careful, again, not to wring this out. You're just going to kind of press it, just kind of wet it, and just squeeze it. We're just going to squeeze that out. There might be a little bit of soap left in there, but it's not the end of the world. Boy, that holds the water. And now we're going to hang that to let it sort of dry a bit. Right now, it's at a pretty, I'm going to say, delicate state. Being this saturated, you probably shouldn't start working and pulling on this yet. We'll bring you back in probably an hour and we'll check on it and kind of see where we're at. All right, so we're back at this here with our fur. It has dried off quite well. I dried it folded with the skin together so that the fur had time to dry out. There's still a little bit of moisture there, but it's not too bad. And you can see inside, still a little bit tacky, like when you can't obviously feel that, but when I touch it, it sort of sticks to my fingers. So it's a little tacky, but not too much. There's some parts here that, to be honest, are probably a little bit wet yet to start stretching. But then there's parts, as you can see here, I did a little test before we started the video. There's parts that are dry enough to get going. So that's kind of one of the things with stretching your hide, fur, is that you're going to have to kind of work around as areas become ready. And ready, like I say, would be still moist, but not tacky, like wet. So what I do, now Chris and I have different methods, we'll show you both. I don't have the hand strength to really pull this very well. Some bits have even gotten quite firm, so I use, our chair has the little round nub, and I just fold it in half and put it on the edge. And what you're going to see is as I stretch, you're breaking the fur is kind of a woven, it's not tendons, what do you call it?
The skin has fibers. That go
Woven fibers, that's right. So you're going to want to stretch this multiple directions, but when I stretch it, you'll see the fibers tear, and you'll see it go a whitish color. See there how it went that white? Hopefully that caught it. That's what you're looking for. That means you are stretching that enough. Then I usually just take it, fold it a different way, and stretch again. You can see that one went really well. Back and forth over that nub really allows me to stretch that quite well without a whole lot of effort on my part. On the other ones that we've done, we've worked it for probably about an hour and a half, periodically putting it down as you get to parts that are too tacky to stretch. There, that one went really well. Here, let's see if I can get that piece. There we go, see? Oh, you got to put a lot of elbow grease into this. And you can see the parts that I stretched are all bubbly, but eventually it all is stretched like that. So we're going to keep working this until we've got it all torn in multiple directions.
Until we've worked it well.
Yeah, and you'll find that this will then become quite supple as a leather. Sometimes still has a bit of a papery sound to it when you rumple it once it's dry.
So this is kind of how I do it. I just sort of take it. You can see where it's already stretched there. But take it and grab it. And just pull. Some of this is not. You can see it changing color there. I'm going a little slow so I can show here, but as it dries, you can even kind of go like that. Sometimes this is a little wet still, but it's going. So that is the process that we used to egg tan, and egg tanning is a little bit different than the alum tanning, and it's definitely a skill that we think, or we feel, is worth knowing how to do. It makes for a really nice, quite what do they call that, pliable hide. Now, one thing we did do with these hides, as you can see, it's kind of got a yellowish color now. That's not the egg. We actually used the neat's foot oil on this. You could also use mink oil to kind of give it some extra preservative, for lack of a better way to put it, and give it some waterproofing. But it made for a really nice fur. Between the two options of egg tanning and the alum tanning, I'm going to get an alum tanned hide here briefly. You can see they are different color. This one maybe wasn't worked as much as we should have. We like both methods, but there is some differences. The alum tanning is a little less finicky and a little more foolproof. If you're busy doing other things, it's a bit more forgiving. The egg tanning method, we found you really had to kind of keep on top of it. Not the ones that we showed in the video, but we have had a few where we've done the egg tanning and something's gone wrong in the process and we've had to basically abandon continuing with that particular hide. So I think the moral of the story here is I definitely think everybody should give the egg tanning a try. If you have chickens or other birds, you have that source. So having the skills to do the egg tanning and kind of experiencing it and just knowing how to do it is a good idea if you're going to use the rabbit furs, because in the case that you couldn't get the alum, you've got a backup. And likely if we can't get alum, then you probably can't get a lot of other things at that point in time too, so life may be a little slower. And having to monitor it a bit more may be a little bit easier to do. Our survive versus thrive scenario, where if we have access to the alum, it's a great way to do it. If we don't have access to the alum, obviously you can't use that technique. Egg tanning is going to be your go-to. Really like the product the egg tanning gives, but it's a little more finicky. Really like the consistency of the alum tanning, and if you want some more information on that process, we did a bit of a series on alum tanning earlier this year and kind of went through that process in a bit more detail. So on that note, definitely suggest giving this a try and yeah, see what you can do with your own rabbit furs, because they are really nice. So the next part for us is figuring out what we're going to make these into, or how we're going to use them, because there may be multiple ways to do that. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you later.